Good morning, folks. Thrash Pondo here, and as promised, I have brought you some long overdue content. But before we start on said content, please like, subscribe, follow, forward, and all those other things I'm constantly asking you people to do. But anyway, yes. Now there were some people wanted me to do another wretched recap, and I've got one of those in the works. And some people wanted me to do another one of my creepy classics, and oh boy, do I have a creepy one for you there. And some people have even said, why don't you do more horror content? Because that's kind of why you started the channel in the first place. And it's funny, you just might. In fact, the funny thing is, I was on DJ Anubis yesterday, and we were talking about Paul Nashi, and he had a question, and I decided to follow up with my resident expert on everything. He's my guru on horror and sci-fi, especially. He knows more than I do, believe it or not. And I asked about Paul Nashi, and it was like the floodgates were open. He was like, and he provided a cornucopia of wealth of information on Paul Nashi. So I don't know, you might see a Paul Nashi retrospect in the works, but for right now, I'm going to give you a little shtick that I'm trying to make a thing, and that is a new one of my posts. I call them The Last of Us. Now, if you missed the Last of Us, as instead of the most recent Last of Us, let me explain to you how this works. What I do is I take a beloved, long running, generally long running TV show, and I tell people what the worst episode is. More importantly, I tell them what the least popular episode is, going IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, that type of thing. So there's no accounting for taste, so you can't get mad at me. And to make it sporting, what I do is I give people a list to draw from. I'll give 4 episodes and a little time, and you tell me what you think, and then we'll compare notes afterwards. And today I decided to do what is certainly one of, if not the favorite Thrash Pondo show of all time, and that is, of course, The Twilight Zone. I absolutely adore The Twilight Zone. I absolutely adore Rod Serling. I absolutely adore everything about it, with a couple of minor exceptions. And I said, what could be more fun than doing The Twilight Zone? Because it's almost sacrilegious to say that there was a bad episode at all, although some are certainly better than others. So what I've done is I've compiled a list, and I will actually read them in an order this time. What I'm going to do is, so people won't try to pick up clues in the way I list them in order of release. Because by and large, the last episode of a show isn't the least popular. Although that has happened. See under the Brady Bunch. But in any event, I shall not read them to you in a particular order. And don't make fun of my glasses either. I love these glasses. They're like MacArthur's. Tell me what that is a quote from. That's a little bonus question. Tell me the movie quote. Ooh, I actually did we try to do posts on famous movie quotes? It sounds like something I would have done. And you might see again. But in any event, I'm going to stick with the topic as of today. And this is the least popular by IMDb, least popular episode of the science fiction social commentary classic, The Twilight Zone. Was it A, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? Uh, B, The Invaders. C, The Old Man in the Cave. Or D, The Bard. While you're contemplating that, and for those of you who might be a little sketchy on a particular episode, though anyone who would watch my channel probably knows them better than I do. Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? That's a group of bus riders taking a shuttle bus from Albany to Boston. There actually is a shuttle service that goes between Albany and Boston. I used to run it frequently when I was in college. Uh, Stuck in a small town because they were a little sketchy on the condition of the bridge the bus has to drive over. And while they're held up in this small little restaurant, they decide, for reasons not entirely clear, they decide one of them has to be a Martian. And it's basically a whodunit. They try to decide which one of them is, in fact, the Martian. And hilarity ensues. The next one, of course, is the Invaders. That's where two little men in body armor, alien invaders, land in a small rural area and this lone woman who lives by herself has to defend herself from these two horrible alien invaders. And again, hilarity ensues. Won't give the I won't give the twist away in any of them, to be honest with you. Old Man in the Cave, uh, James Colburn and James Mallory, who I was actually just talking about yesterday. James Mallory plays the sheriff in the car. And while I'm on the subject, I just did a retrospect with DJ Anubis on the car. Please check that out. But in any case, The Old Man in the Cave, post-apocalyptic story. A small group of soldiers who may or may not be representing what's left of the government show up in a small town and take over, and their efforts are being thwarted by the entity that controls the town, this mysterious man in the cave who issues orders through a proxy. And hilarity ensues. And the Bard. And that's where a struggling television writer, funny that Twilight Zone would do a show about that, a struggling television writer uses a book of magic to summon Shakespeare into present day so he could write high quality teleplays, and hilarity ensues. Anyway, so again, I will read them through one last time and then I'll give the answer. Is the least popular episode of The Twilight Zone A, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? B, The Invaders? C, The Old Man in the Cave? Or D, The Bard? And the answer is The Bard. That actually kind of surprised me a little bit. I mean, it's a really silly story. I mean, some of the Twilight Zones were done as comedies, but it is particularly silly. But John Williams does an amazing job as William Shakespeare. Jack Weston, I believe is how you pronounce the man's last name. He did one of my favorite episodes of the Twilight Zone, the Monsters Are Dude on Maple Street. But I gotta tell you, Burt Reynolds as his over the top Marlon Brando impression. And he later admitted that yes, he was deliberately making fun of Marlon Brando for whatever reason in his character. Rocky Roads. We built this Sunday on Rocky Road. Rocky Roads was a depiction of Mr. Brando. Is worth the price of admission. It's hysterical. But again, look at the competition we got here. Will the Real Martian Police stand up? John Hoyt and Jack Elam are absolutely amazing in that. The Invaders, a lot of people don't like The Invaders. And I'm not sure why. I had one friend years ago who couldn't stand Agnes Moorehead. I don't know why. I mean, I've never heard of bad things about Agnes Moorehead. I mean, the only thing I really remember from is Bewitched, although she was in several other things. But I knew a guy who couldn't stand her. That might have had something to do with it. But the idea of one person carrying an entire show by themselves, it's really like a one woman play. And there's no dialogue. That must have been so tricky to do and pull off, but again, a lot of people don't like it. But I like it. I actually get to see it on the big screen. They did a marathon years ago. This is before COVID, where they took six very popular episodes and showed them in a theater, and I got to see it. It was wonderful. And The Old Man in the Cave, for some reason, a lot of people don't like The Old Man in the Cave. I love it. Apparently, it's based on a short story, which I have not been able to find, at least get a copy of. But I think The Old Man in the Cave is great. James Colburn is outstanding in it. But anyway, yes, the least popular episode of The Twilight Zone of all time is, in fact, The Bard. Hey, it's got to be something. Anyway, that's all I got for you for right now. I do have a show tonight at 7 p.m. Looking forward to seeing you guys, and I will have more comment on the content. I will have more content from you. I'm sorry I haven't had more. It's been kind of a killer week. Both my car and Mrs. Thrash's car died. Had to jump through hoops to fix that. Few other X, Y's, and Z's that I've been working on. But I don't want to bore you guys with my problems. In any event, have a wonderful day. Hopefully, I'll see you all tonight. Be good, be safe, be careful, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.